The problem is, they open the door and look in, and it's nice, and then they close the door, but they do not close the door behind them. They close the door in front of their nose. So they have to open it again. And then close it, and open it, and close it, and open it. And that is a lot of work. So after they come out of these what they call pleasant abidings, they have depleted. But once we go into the room, and then we take a full deep breath, then we are completely refreshed when we come out. That is the difference, please notice that. It's called wrong samadhi or wrong jhanas. Some people think, they enter the jhanas, but they actually, just see them far apart, far away. But because they see them, they think, they actually entered them. That's not the right thing with samadhi. Samadhi is the same thing. I just want to remind you, Don't get fooled with this. It's not wrong, there's nothing wrong if a pleasant abiding arises within our heart, It still arises, if you take notice or not. It arises because only of our concentration. Do you know why people in the world like to do some extreme sports or do racing cars? Because they need their mindfulness. They need extreme mindfulness. Otherwise, they know they are going to be dead. And this kind of mindfulness, that produces a sort of satisfaction, a sort of pleasant feeling in the heart. And that's what they're after, and that's why they do that. Because, when you drive 200 miles an hour, you cannot be mindless. You have to be extremely mindful. You have to be extremely mindful of everything. You cannot think about this or you cannot think about that. And that's why pleasant or a sort of concentration arises. And with this sort of concentration, a pleasant feeling arises. A feeling of joy arises. Even if you ski down the hill, it's the same thing. Or if you fly, it's the same thing. You have to be concentrated. But it's the wrong kind of samadhi. Understand? Because the people think, actually that pleasant feeling comes while racing the car. Or the pleasant feeling arises because they do a dangerous or extreme sport. But it doesn't arise because of this. People misunderstand it. And that's why it's called wrong samadhi. The concentration or the pleasant feeling or the joy arises just within our heart. If we just do one thing, concentrate on one object. Then it comes by itself. But if we look for this pleasant feeling, it's like opening the door and closing it in front of our nose. Just step into the room, and abide in it. Really abide in it. And when you come out, you feel refreshed. Understand this? Understand it. We need to have, we need to have this concentration. And that's what we are developing. And it's not difficult to develop. We just stay at one point. But then, of course, boredom arises. We don't want to. We want to think about this, or we want to think about that. Or when I look at the monks here, what are they doing? They do this or do that. They occupy themselves constantly with some work that they think it's the most important. And who is telling them? The little birds that are behind our ears whispering with a very sweet, soft voice. Oh, yes, this you should do, this you should do, yeah. And of course we immediately believe it. We immediately believe it, and said, yes, this is important, this is what we should do. But this is the voice of the Kalisa. These little birds, who are constantly behind our ears, whispering in our ears, this we like, this we don't like, this we should do, this we shouldn't do. Instead of just doing our job. Instead of just doing our work, just concentrate on this one object. Breathing in and breathing out. And there's nothing else than breathing in and breathing out. Or there's nothing else than Buddha, 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 Buddha. We have to force, in the beginning, we have to force the mind always to go back. Go back to the Buddha or go back to the breathing in and breathing out. And as I said before, we can combine this. While breathing in we say Bud, while breathing out we say To. Until in the end one will go away. What's that? So you can share. Afterwards. So you understand it. Maybe I don't get this. I don't get this anymore. I forgot all about it. About how the Kalisas try to make it so important that one has to do this or do that, or think about this or think about that. Why is it, why is it that we cannot resist this little sweet voice? Why is it? Ask yourself, why can't you resist? And if you get bored, your interest is not with the object. Make this object the most interesting object within your life. And everything disappears. Including the object in the end. Time will disappear, the surrounding will disappear, your body will disappear, and the whole world disappears. Because you're just interested in catching every detail, aspect of either the breath or of the Buddha. That's what makes us one-pointed. Understand that. Tanaja Mahabodha, I just heard a talk. Tanaja Mahabodha said, the Buddha, or the Lord Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, they are all born in the forest. The enlightenment is born in the forest. Because the Lord Buddha teaches us, they are the caves, they are the hills, they are the trees, they are the open, wide open. That's the place where you monks should go and exert yourself. Exert yourself not in building this or building that. Exert yourself in the practice, in the formal practice of the either samatha or vipassana. That means either calm meditation or insight meditation. And you do that. And you go there and you do it. And there's nothing else that can distract you. But now in this world, of course we have so many toys. Extremely many toys. And of course the toys do not make they don't see the wall of this monastery. So they come into this monastery. And they ruin the monks. And they ruin the practitioner. Because then we think we have to play with these toys of the world. And every year, every half year, a new toy is coming out. So there's no end. We even didn't understand the last toy. Now we get a new toy. And a new toy, and a new toy. And where's the end to it? There will be no end to it. And that's probably because, why it's so difficult. If the monks would still go out in the forest and look for the Dhamma there, then it would be, would be possible for them to find it. The Lord Buddha and all the Sanghas, Savaka Sanghas, all the well-gone Savakas, all the well-gone practitioners have been in the forest, attained to enlightenment in the forest. But now in this modern world we think, we just look for a very nice cushion that is very soft. We look for a very comfortable place to stay, where we don't have to worry about this or don't worry about that. And that's where we find enlightenment. And then the people find a sort of enlightenment, and then they claim that they're enlightened. Just while sitting on a nice cushion, and being in a nice environment and never facing death. And if we don't face death, how can we get enlightened? We have to face the death. So it's nice that you come so early. Everything is more important than the work of the monk. Everything is more important than the work of samatha or samadhi or vipassana. Why is that? Why can't we control our mind? Why? Just get the determination. Whenever the mind goes out, grab it at the tail and put it back to the object, no matter what. No, not interested in where it went and what it encountered and what happened and this and this and this and that. Just grab it the moment you see it's going out. Grab it at its tail and put it back. Put it just back to the object. To the object of to the object of calm, that is the Buddha or is the breath, or to the object of investigation. Just don't let it run around. Don't get tangled in these things that are around you. For people who come into this monastery, of course, everything seems to be quiet. But for monks who have been staying here for a while, at least half a year now, their interest goes somewhere else. They know everything, and they see the trees, We know it all, but what is coming today? What is coming in today? Is a mail coming in today, or is this coming in today? Or what kind of goods bring the lay people? Where can I have my share in it? That's what's interesting. That's what's more interesting than the practice. How can this be? The practice itself gives us that satisfaction. Incredible amount of satisfaction. Why is it that we can't stay, that we can't stay for half an hour, that we can't stay for an hour, or maybe after 2 hours, we get bored, now I have to change this, or I have to read this, or I have to listen to that, or I have to call this person, or that person, or maybe my mother died, or maybe the world doesn't exist anymore, I have to open my eyes. See how they fool us, the Kalisas. This little bird behind our ears. Oh, the voice is so sweet, Gyup Nam Tan. That's what Thanachan Mahabodha calls the Kalisa. Sugar-coated poison. They taste so sweet, but where's the poison going? The poison is directly going into our heart. And making it unable. Making it very stiff. So that we actually cannot do the practice. So that the Buddha arises within the forest, the Dhamma arises within the forest, and the Sangha arises within the forest, and enlightenment arises within the forest. In the forest are trees and animals. And that's why this monastery is called the Forest University. Well, at least it used to be the Forest University. Now it's more the center of the world or the center of Thailand. It used to be the Forest University because Thanachan was checking on the monks, every monk, at least 3 times a day what he was doing, if he was still practicing. Nobody dared to go out, nobody dared to check, nobody dared to do this or do that. Everybody was keen, in staying on his hut. Because if Thanachan Mahabodha didn't catch this monk 3 times in a row, he was going out. He was kicked out of the monastery. Not interested in practice? Okay, we don't need to stay here. But now, of course, it's not. Get it right. Get it really down to your heart. Do it. There is no work that is more difficult in the beginning. Really, there's no work, compared to the work of the world, there's no more work that is tougher or more difficult than the work of Chitta Bhavana. That means the work of training the Chitta. But there is no work that is more encouraging, that is more giving more benefits than the work of the Chitta Bhavana. It is lasting. It is bringing us something that we can't look in the world for. What we see in the world is only a little image. It's not the real thing. Like I said in the beginning, when we race a car or when we do an extreme sport, we get some sort of happiness. But this happiness, as I explained, becomes out of the concentration because we are actually afraid of death. So we are concentrating and keep mindful on what we are doing. And that produces a nice feeling. And that's what we can get in the world. But if we understand why it is, if we understand the reason how to get it, then why not looking just directly into the heart? What does this thought about the past bring us? It brings us nothing than turmoil. What does this thought about the future bring us? It brings us nothing than turmoil. It upsets our heart. What does the chit-chat with this person or that person bring us? It upsets our heart for a long time. Just remember, the next time you talk to a person, how long it takes, to get rid of the conversation in your head. It takes hours just to get rid of a little conversation you had with a friend. You think about it, you correct it, this I should have said, or that I should have said, or why did he say this, or why did he say that? So you're constantly out somewhere, but you're not mindful. You're not mindful of what is going on. Mindful of the 5 khandhas, mindful of your heart. Not mindful of the breath, you're just mindful of the thoughts. You're indulging into these thoughts. Trying to, what I don't know what you do, but, trying to correct yourself or your view of yourself or whatever. Just look at it very clearly. Really look at it. What are you doing? Every time, every moment you should ask yourself, what am I doing and why am I doing that? If stay with the Buddha. Why I'm thinking about this? Why I'm thinking about that? What does this bring to me? What does that bring to me? It produces only turmoil. Turmoil in the sense that the heart is disturbed. And once you get a feeling for the heart, you know every kind of disturbance. The smallest disturbance that you normally don't realize now at the moment. Just a sense comes in, and then the memory is looking for identification, that already disturbed. Because with this identification, a feeling arises, and another memory comes up, and another thought comes up, and then within a second, you're not even mindful of, what can happen within a second. You want this, or you want that, or you dislike this, or you dislike that. Within a second, think about it. It happens very quickly. If you remember, you just need to go out and see a person, and immediately hate comes up. Or unpleasant feelings, at least. Or love comes up, You just walk through the street, and you see a beautiful girl run. Wow. There it goes. And how long did it take to happen? You weren't even aware of what is going on. This is mindfulness, you understand it? This is mindfulness, catching every detail, catching every step in the process. Catching every step in the process, leads us to freedom, leads us to enlightenment. So that's why it's so important is mindfulness. You get that? So we need to catch, when we train our mindfulness, we need to catch every detail of the Buddha. Or we need to catch every detail of the breath. Understand that? That's why it's so important. We want to understand what is actually going on, not, what is going, what is an image that is displayed to us. We see somebody, we fall in love, or we see somebody and hate comes up, and then we think this is the real thing. We don't even understand, what is going, how it went on. We think this is us, this is mine, this is my usual reaction. But this usual reaction, is a program that might have 100 or 1,000 program steps. So to catch every step of this program, is leading us to understanding. The understanding that takes place in the heart. The heart that sees, and that sees, how these things go. Gets disillusioned. Like we are like we are enchanted by a magician, who does this trick or that trick. He saws up a woman, and then puts it back, and then it's alive again. The moment we go behind the stage and see the trick, we don't fall for this trick anymore, do we? How is he doing, It's a trick, but he does it very fast. And he does it in the obscure. That means he does it in the unknown, in the thing that we don't see. So it's the same thing. Avijja is nothing than a magician. Get it? Go behind the stage and look, how he's doing it, and you're not going to fall for these tricks anymore. Very easy. But be aware, the moment you get up from your seat, the magician will notice it, and he will pull out a trick that you have never seen before. And then you say, wow, and you sit back down. And you forgot all about your intentions to go behind the stage. And it's the same thing with avijja. The moment avijja notices that you're going to get at it, it pulls out a new thing. A thing that you have never seen and never encountered before, and wow, you're gone for it again. This is, if avijja wouldn't have that power, we would be all out long time ago. So understand it, understand the mindfulness. The importance of mindfulness, the importance of sati. Don't be interested, while you are here. Don't be interested about what is going on around you, who is coming, who is going, what is coming in and what is going out. It doesn't matter. We have our food, we have a place to wash, and we have a place to practice. We have a place to sit, and we have a place to sleep, and we have a place to walk. That's all what we need. Completely take care of the body. The walking, takes care of the body, giving it a change. We don't need to do any special exercise. So, and everything else, and hear and listen to it very carefully. Everything else, just chuck out. And then there is no way that you will not attain to samadhi. And there is no way that you will not attain to enlightenment. There is no way that you will not attain to insight, to understanding. Just observe everything in its detail. Every detailed moment. Don't be bored, Boredom is just a means, just tells us that we are not interested in the object anymore. So the mind goes out. Grab it, and put it. Make this object, either the object of karma or object of investigation, the most interesting object you really want to understand, so that you can stay with it. Understand that? No. Exhausted. So, with this I close. And I hope you do some work. Get to the results. No, it's not beyond. If you come to this monastery, it's not beyond your abilities to get there. Understand that? If you have the vasana, if you have the merit to come here to this monastery, it's not beyond your abilities to get there, to understand it, to get into samadhi. Think about it, there are so many millions or billions of people who don't make even the way to this monastery. Because they don't have the merit. But we have gained or we have acquired the merit in our past lives that makes us able to come here and to stay here and to listen to the Dhamma, to the truthful Dhamma that is brought up by Thanachan Mahaboa to lead us to enlightenment, to lead us to freedom. Freedom that takes place in the heart, not freedom from things. So if we can come here and listen to this kind of Dhamma, that means we must have acquired enormous amount of merit. And that must mean that we can do it. So there's no excuse that you can't do it. Understand that? Now I end it.